Hey guys, Lisa Callaghy here to share with you a video on how to use the report section in Mathseeds, specifically the standards report and individual student report. All right, let's get started. So coming over to the left-hand menu bar, I'm on a teacher's page, and this is a second grade teacher. And I'm going to come down to where it says reports, and I'm going to choose the standard performance report. So what this report is, it's showing you the standards, the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, broken out by lesson within Mathseeds. So there's a few ways that you could use this report to support your students. The first way is to actually see how your students are doing within the program by grade level. So this is a second grade teacher. So we can look to see if there are any kindergarten standards, kindergarten math standards, that any of her students are struggling with by clicking on kindergarten up here in the content level, and then scrolling down, and then there's a couple of things you could do. You can sort it by average score. So that's going to give you average score from highest to lowest and lowest to highest. Now, it looks like the average score for the lessons here, the content level and the lessons which coincide with the standard, it looks like starting from the beginning lesson that students are doing quite well. You could see here 2 students, and remember, there were 2 students that worked on this standard because when they took the placement test, they fell into the kindergarten content level and they worked on the maps that were related to kindergarten standards, right? So this particular student distribution count. There's only 2 students that took this lesson 8, and 2 of them got 100%, okay? So you can look at it this way, scrolling down and taking a look and seeing like, okay, here for this standard in lesson 12, number 7, there was 1 student that scored between 50 and 79 on the quiz for that standard on that specific map in Mathseeds. And to see who that student is, you click on Student Report, scroll down, and then you could see the student, the score, how many attempts the student took to get that score, the grade level, and the student's name. Now, if you feel from your regular formative assessment and other assessments that you take or that you give your students, that this student is also struggling within your class in math from Savvas, you might want to do something to help support the student within Mathseeds. And I'll show you what you can do in another video that shows ways to support your students. But for this video, I'm just showing you the way that you can use the standard performance report and the lesson performance individual student report, which is what we're looking at right now. These 2 reports are kind of married. So if I clicked on this student, oh no, I'm not going to be able to see their individual. This is their individual report. Okay, so now I'm going to go back. Go back, and that was for kindergarten. And you can go through and see, like here, there were 3 students that had difficulty here with this particular standard. If you wanted to take a look at who they were, you can look at the standard report, and then you'd be able to see their scores and decide whether or not you would like to provide any extra support for those students in that particular standard. So now looking through, you're able to see any standards specifically that there were students that had difficulty with, right? Okay. For the most part, it was only a few students that had difficulty with any of the standards in kindergarten grade level in Mathseeds. Then you could switch to the next grade and do the same thing. So now you can sort by average score, you can sort highest to lowest, lowest to highest, and now you're able to see again anybody who's struggling and what lesson and what standard is related to that lesson. And then you could look at the student report to see who those students are. Take into consideration also the number of students that worked within that lesson. So for here, I can sort by number of students to see what lesson the majority of my class worked on, and then look to see how well they did. So this is going to go from highest to lowest. So we're looking at 17 students that worked in this on this lesson in this standard, and they all did well, right? But coming down, you'll see that there were 6 students that worked on lesson 52. And remember, the way that students get to these lessons depends on where they fall within the maps from their placement tests, okay? So 6 students were working on lesson 52 and 1 had a problem. Again, you could take a look and see who it is. Okay, so that is a couple of ways to look at this report. Looking at it by number of students and then taking a look at the standard distribution, or you can sort by average score. Now let's look at second grade, which is the current grade. And these are the current standards that the teacher is teaching. So this is going to give the teacher even more information about where the students are struggling within the content of the grade level that the students are in. So coming down, again, we could sort by number of students, highest to lowest, lowest to highest, meaning how many students have were in or completed lesson. This lesson here is 101. And then the standard related to that lesson, how many students took that lesson and took the lesson quiz, and their score. So it looks like out of 13, 10 passed, 3 scored between 50 and 79, and to see again who those are, you click on student report. Then you can also click on average score, highest to lowest, lowest to highest. This will reveal the area that the students are struggling in if you see a yellow or a red average score here. So we're seeing a yellow average score which shows that 7 students worked in lesson 114, and that lesson is about quarter to impasse, which I would guess is time. Here's the standard, right? We have 1 student that scored between 0 and 49% on the lesson quiz, 4 students between 50 and 79% on the lesson quiz, and 2 students that passed. Again, you get to click on the student report and see who those students are. So this is a way for you to see how your students are doing within the standards that you are teaching in the class. And you can also look here to see if any students have worked on standards that you haven't covered yet. So that might give you a little bird's eye view of how your students may do with that particular standard or lesson that you're teaching or will teach in the future. Okay, so this has been a video on the standard performance and lesson performance individual students reports from Mathseeds and how to interpret them. And the next couple of videos, I'm going to show you how to use the resources in Mathseeds to support those students in the specific standards that they need support in. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Have a great day.